Hello, everybody. My name's Randy Rolfe, and I'm a Nikken independent consultant. And this is a half-hour program that we do every Thursday morning. There's also one in the evening, and it's an overview of Nikken. You've probably learned something about it already, and this is to give you a deeper look. And please keep exploring. It's an amazing, amazing way of life. Nikken is unique in the world and a pioneer in wellness. And I discovered Nikken almost 21 years ago. And I'd been teaching nutrition and good communication and family wellness for already 20 years. And I was looking for a way to not just charge by the hour, because I found among families, finance was one of the biggest stresses, and I could only charge so much per hour, and there were only that many hours in a week. And so I was only reaching a small number of people. I reached more people through the books I'd written, but still, every time I wanted a big splash, I needed to write another book. So I was looking for another way to reach more people, to maintain my freedom and control over my time, and make more money. And Nikken was better than I dreamed of because they had a whole nother dimension of wellness. The research they'd done on our energy body and how to keep it in balance the way nature intended was absolutely mind-blowing. And it's made a huge difference for me and my husband in the last 20 years. And I recognized the importance of it immediately because as a young lawyer, I had helped Indians and farmers combat a ultra high voltage transmission line they were putting through their properties. And so I heard the testimonies about how these ultra high voltage electric lines affect health of animals, plants, and kids, and schools that were near the line because the land was cheaper there, that kind of thing. And so we knew that electricity was a negative in our lives. And when we redid our house, we minimized the wiring and we had a dirt floor so that we'd be exposed to the good energy of the earth. So when I found Nikken that had developed products so that everybody could enjoy this kind of good rebalancing energy, I was all over it. So that's my story. And I want to share a PowerPoint now with you that give you a good overview of Nikken. So let me get to my slideshow here. And I will get rid of my face. There we go. All right. So Nikken is what we believe a better way to a life in balance and abundance. And we really try to help the whole planet through helping individual people. And Nikken rewards us wonderfully with a profit. So people, planet, and profit is what we are involved with. And the magic of Nikken is that it really focuses on those daily choices and habits that make up our life. And small choices through consistency and time make a radical difference for income, health, relationships, happiness, and success. And I saw this in the 20 years of family practice. It made such a difference if just the family got enough sleep or had a good breakfast or had a few hugs or we're leading a good, smart life. And Nikken has solutions that make that easier than ever. But it's all about daily choices. So we're about active wellness and also collaborative entrepreneurship, the way we share with others to increase that bottom line. And from the beginning, in 1975, in Japan, when the founder started Nikken, he was building it on a philosophy that's really exciting. When I was a lawyer, I was a corporate lawyer, and I never saw a corporation, a multinational corporation, that had this kind of profound mission that it actually subscribed to. And the idea is that the pursuit of balance in these 5 pillars of health will give you true happiness and serenity and total health. And so healthy body, healthy mind, healthy family, healthy society, and healthy finances. If any of them are weak, the others start to suffer. So you want to have them all in balance. Modern life's filled with stress. As I mentioned, financial can be the top one, but that also is related to health concerns and lack of time for your family, for your parents, for your friends. Just eating on the run, not getting enough sleep, too many demands going on in your mind. It's a very stressful life, and it's way more stressful, we now know, than even living in a traditional society in caveman times, because then it was acute stress and you had time to recover from it, but not anymore. It's chronic stress now. We can't fight or flight. We just have to deal with it, and our bodies suffer. This is a diagram of the 4 quadrants that were developed by Robert Kiyosaki, how we get our cash flow to support our living. And on the left side are the people who are employees or self-employed, and either of them, you have time equals money. You're not earning unless you're working. And they say you have no leverage. Don't leverage your money or other people's time. And you're the last one to get paid. And in an employee, they only pay you what the job's worth, not what you're worth. And when you're self-employed, like I was as a family counselor, every minute that you're there is the only time you get paid. On the right side are the business owners and the investors. And we put McDonald's up there because it has a system that makes owning a business like turnkey. But you need the money. It takes $1 million or $2 million to really start building a good income owning McDonald's franchises. And then investing, you need a couple of million to be able to put your money to work for you. But 95% of the wealth is controlled by the 5% of the population that are business owners and investors. And only 5% of the wealth is actually controlled by those people on the left side of the diagram, the employees and employers. So people are looking for ways to move from no leverage to actually being able to leverage the efforts of others or their own money. There's a new trend emerging called the gig economy, where people are looking to enhance their income by on-demand availability of temporary engagements or side engagements or home-based businesses. And this increases mobility. Millennials are joining the workforce with this kind of mentality. They see that the corporations aren't taking care of us for life anymore, like in our grandparents' day. Or great-grandparents' day for the millennials. And the benefits are that you can stay home, you can work at your own pace, and you get more life balance, which the younger people are definitely interested in. And Uber shows that this is something that people are really looking for, because they've increased by a factor of 1,000 in the same 5 years. GM went down by 1 billion. So Uber went from millions to billions in that same period. And likewise, the internet has changed everything. Amazon has gone from 83 billion to 385 billion in just 5 years, while Walmart is staying the same. So people are buying online, they're selling online. It's a huge shift that we're only beginning to appreciate. So what is the Nikken advantage in this milieu? We think it's the perfect gig. We have collaborative entrepreneurship, low cost of entry, not millions like McDonald's, but just $100 to get started, and then invest in your own health and start sharing it. So it's easily integrated into your life, turnkey system, and amazing leadership. Everybody wins when the leaders help. So it's really collaborative. So we get to leverage our efforts through the efforts of others that we introduce to Nikken. It's really the ideal gig in the new economy. And we share active wellness to prosper ourselves And it's truly a spiritual approach because we make our money by helping others improve their lives. So this is a quick diagram of what we do. We join Nikken. We share and promote the products and the business, invite people to be customers or consultants with us. And Nikken does all the heavy lifting. We're just the marketing arm, telling people, promoting what we've already experienced for ourselves. And Nikken gives us amazing rewards. And this amazing business opportunity works because it's based on, like I said at the very beginning, groundbreaking, amazing technologies that Nikken has been researching for over 43 years. They started with the magnetic energy products, and which we'll talk about in a moment, and then developed nutrition, water purification, air purification, and even a wonderful light here I have on my desk that gives you the full spectrum. So that wellness home is a cash flow engine. It's not just you buy one thing or you buy a little bit of something every month. You really outfit your home as a wellness home. So you get your initial product and you upgrade, and you can get the consumables for monthly input, and then add users and family, friends, acquaintances, and then Nikken's always doing research, staying at the absolute cutting edge of the field too. So there's constantly a flow of cash from people who are building their wellness home with you. And our circle of influence, it's a lovely little circle here with me or you in the center with your wellness home, and your 5 chief consumers who are building their wellness homes, and 3 leaders at the bottom who are duplicating what you've done by teaching 3 leaders to reach their 3 and build their Nikken business. But it's all based on extraordinary products that you can't find anywhere else. This is a picture of our collaborative system. I'm not going to go into a detail, but if you want to know how the business works, this is amazing. There's so much support, and this shows different levels as you become more and more valuable, affect more people's lives. Then there's constant support. And I love this picture. This gets back to nature. That one apple seed, if it's planted and nurtured, can be responsible for millions and literally millions of apples. And we have people who started with Nikken quite early who have impacted tens and 20,000s of people. It's a fantastic program, and you get rewarded. And this is our People, Planet, Profit business plan with you at the top of the cone, and the people who have joined you as partners in the business have each of them have their 5 lead customers in the middle row, and then you're at the top, and Nikken's rewarding you for all those people you've brought to them. So we're looking for every home being a wellness home. Imagine if everybody in the world came home, got all refreshed and calm and renewed in their homes, and you can even take it with you with a car seat and so on. And imagine how much better everybody would get along. That's my long-term goal. So let's see, why did it flip? Here we go. Oh dear, sorry about this. All right, now we're going to talk about the products themselves a little bit. So I'm going to introduce my cohort here, Hattiejane Daracourt, and she's going to share with you, unmute yourself, Hattiejane, and she's going to share with you the, there she is. She has some people she's working with there in their garden.
Forgive me for a moment, and I'll be right with you, folks. And because I love Nikken's product line and have for all these years, and they really are giving me a great quality of life. Hang in there.
So hello, welcome guests.
Sweet.
And after,
thank you very much for coming to help me. I'm so glad you learned more about Nikken today.
See, we all do this business right from home.
Right from home. We've been working in the yard. I'm out and I'm sitting in my kitchen holding the little iPhone. Oh, this world is so neat now. Oh, this was not like those hours and hours I would spend at people's bedsides, which I dearly loved doing over my 30 years in nursing. And then as a massage therapist, one and one at a time. This way, I get to introduce people to a product line that they can go forth into their families and their families' families and their families and really make a dramatic difference in their lives, because it's so much fun being able to get up and down, around in the garden, and get around and talk. Oh, anyway, on to products. So it's the fact that, okay, I've worked in the yard, I've talked to a friend, I'm talking to you all.
Yeah.
That's a great reliever. And because back to the stress aspect, because in our lives, yes, stress is going to be there, whether we're made a successful moment, and the behaviors we've had as we've gone through different projects have really affected our health. And sometimes not as active as we like, and sometimes our health has its own problems that if we have choices of how we can manage it better, little by little, we can be healthier, we can be more well, despite the fact things are going on. So the stress is such a major component to whatever it happens. I took care of Mom over her journey with Alzheimer's, so I was a primary caregiver at her bedside. And that was more stressful than I'd ever imagined it was after all those years of taking care of strangers. Then sleep, the ability to take such a deep sleep and get to the point in which your body actually is in such a state of relaxation that your hormones in there, all those little strange things that they talk about in our bodies work, and we recover from the effect of the physical stuff and the chemical stuff we've been exposed to and do with. And the air. Having breathing issues all my life, I was really, and circumstances, the breathing of the air indoors with the filters we had that we have encouraged over the time had made a major difference. And then the water, oh, I heard something that's so neat. Someone said water is not a choice of beverage, it is an essential beverage, which is absolutely true, because every single every single health issue within our bodies have to have an appropriate water content in order to completely be able to complete their functions and utilize them, grow in them, and get rid of the garbage. And without adequate water, you can't do that. Health trends is shown that the new childhood, the kids are being affected. 20 years ago, when I started, and then I guess put more focus on about 15 years ago, that the children were becoming more rotund, less muscular. They weren't being as active. They were growing fatter along with the rest of us as adults. But the kids were, and the kids who weren't usually fat, you would see the occasional adult. Well, now obesity has really changed, plus the fact in my days as a young person, I don't think I ever saw anyone that was struggling with Alzheimer's much, which is my mother's problem, but kids know nothing like that of autism. And they say that has been definitely on the rise in my recent experience. This is in the actual statistics, actual function, and they say it's continuing to rise. And therefore, Nikken, it really gives me a variety of choices over all ages, from prenatal to death, and who knows about after death. Who knows? So the answer is to be healthy by choice, not by chance. And we say by choice, what do you mean? You can choose not to be unhealthy? Well, you can choose to be weller. You can choose to work toward things that are healthier. You can choose to find things that support your body naturally, because that your body is used to growing to its healthiest state it can be. And that's why we call it a holistic approach. Now, Nikken is not the absolute one-in-one answer to everything in the earth, but it is such a major difference in my life because I would love to think that you will have the same total effect. And as you create in your own home, in your home life, and as you work with the different products, as you find them helpful for you, that you will find new choices and new ways. Because we have what we call weight management, but it really saved my waist because my mental health was really being affected because I couldn't remember things clearly. And you can imagine having no mother with her Alzheimer's journey. It was a little frightening. So the weight thing I started so that I would have a improved mental cognition, because this is really what Nikken's first formula and main formula and continues to be formula is that it wants to improve our total health, not just to make our size different. And it did. I can remember my passwords now. I can be on these things very comfortable. I never learned to record them. And it's from the weight management and the jade green enzymes there, you see. And then the skin, I'm looking forward to really being active with this year to improve my health, because when on the weight management, as I struggled with improving my mental cognition by learning new stuff, like how to work in computer, I lost 100 pounds. And people don't recognize me. So I get to work to being a new person. I hadn't been in a size 16 since high school, and I'm 76. So it's going to be different, and I'm looking toward a single size. But in the water system that is so essential to our health they have really taken the very, very best of filtration potential that is portable, usable at home, and also put it in the shower system so when we bathe and our body absorbs water and we breathe in the vapor from our warm showers, it's clean, 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 and super absorbable. And we even have a bottle we can carry with us. So when I go to a conference or when I go to visit a friend overnight, I take my portable bottle with me. So I'm constantly drinking the really, really healthy water that Nikken is able to provide. And it is so cheap when you consider how much some of the other factors are that aren't, and it's so effective. And the main core products, the very first product they had were insoles that slipped in your shoes. Now they're a little different from Dr. Scholl's. And you can even, if you need Dr. Scholl's, you can set those in your shoes and you can put these underneath those, and they still work. And Mr. Masuda, who is the chief creator of this line, found that some things really helped his whole energy feel better, feel more alert, feel more consistent, have more of it all over the day. So they knew about some things that were going on in the space age. So they said, well, let's try this. And he said, we tried it. And in 10 years, we did really well. So we came stateside 30 years ago. And they still are fantastic. They augment our energy field in such a way that our entire body goes, whoopee, that feels good. And it's so hard to describe to people. If the person who invited you, or the person that you know in Nikken, ask them to do a demo with you so you can feel, hey, there is something different in my body when I'm standing on these suckers. And then if you like it, get a pair. So it's active wellness and living a life in balance, which I'm home. I'm able to do a business sharing. I'm able to work with people that I've met and gotten to know. And so I have even a wider family, because with Mother's death, we've got to be a little smaller. So y'all check us out.
Thanks, Hattiejane. Thanks so much. And I want to introduce our special guest for today, Lisa Hazelgrove. And she's from Virginia, and she's another happy Nikken customer as well as a consultant with Nikken. So Lisa, if you tell us, we have almost 10 minutes. So I really want to have you share what your experience has been, what got you interested in Nikken in the first place, and why you're still here, and some of your experiences. We got to unmute you. Yes, unmute. All right.
Okay, how's that?
Great.
Better. Okay.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa, for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. I was introduced to Nikken, gosh, Barb, I think it was 15 years ago. Can you believe that? I know, right? And I was praying very desperately for some help for myself and my son. We were both extremely sad. I mean, extremely sad that we needed help with that. And I was very intent on helping my son any way I could. I had him on some medicine, but it had some really bad side effects, and he got worse. So I thought, what am I going to do? I'm looking for solutions. And I thought, I'm just going to put my trust in the Lord, and he's going to show me where I need to go. And I went to a networking event, and I heard someone talking about their allergies had gotten better. And then somebody else was talking about losing weight. And at the time, you're probably going to find this hard to believe. I'll see if I can find an old photo of me and post it. But I weighed quite a bit. I weighed more than my husband at that time because it was just a combination of stress and sadness medication that I was on that really led to the weight gain that I had. But I was really looking for some solutions to all this and wondering what in the world, where did I go wrong? And why is, all of a sudden this it was like a domino effect. But more importantly, my son needed me, and he came first. So I went ahead and, like I said, prayed a lot, and I'd heard, someone give a testimony, and I thought, it's worth a try. I have allergies, and he had trouble breathing. So I thought, this might help us. And I went and talked to Barb, and she said, well, I want to introduce you to what the magnets can do. And I said, that sounds great. And she gave me what they called a rollout, kind of a magnetic massage of sorts. And I just remember afterwards feeling like all the weight had just fallen off my shoulders. And I felt very calm, and I felt peaceful. And I thought, wow, yeah, I could definitely, I like this. I could use that. And just really started looking at all areas of living for me and my son. And we had a lot of commonalities going on. We both didn't sleep. So when Barb mentioned that Nikken addressed all vital areas of living, and one of them was sleep, I went, oh, tell me more about that. Because my son and I both don't sleep. Little did I know that was really the culprit that led to the problems that we had. We had trouble focusing and concentrating because we weren't sleeping. Again, our immune system was off, with the allergies and his breathing issues that he had. So the immune system wasn't getting what it needed because we weren't sleeping. So one of the things I did was borrowed that demo pad from Barb, and I remember I used to roll out of bed because everything hurt at that point. My whole body just was breaking down, and so it took me a few minutes to get out of bed, walk across the floor, and get to the bathroom. And by the fifth day, I got out of the bed and I walked across the floor, and I went, huh? Well, I got here a lot quicker this time. And it was interesting. My knees used to pop and crack all the time. I was an avid slalom water skier. I had skied a lot. Of course, I was not as avid skier as Barb is, but I just remember cracking my knees a lot. And they showed that age, by popping. And I thought, they're not making that sound they normally make. This is really interesting that my body seems to love this environment, and I want to know more. So I got the insoles like you talked about, and I thought, yeah, I'm on my feet, I'm walking all the time. That makes sense. Why not put something in my shoes that possibly could help me to have more energy during the day? I needed to lose the weight, so I knew I needed to walk. And I thought, well, this will be great. And got on the water, got the sleep system, got the air system for my son with his breathing. And I just remember the last time he had an attack. And I'm like, you got to trust me. I'm thinking, whoa, you got to trust me. And we just used the air and used the magnets, the moving magnets on his chest. And within minutes, he just looked at me and he goes, Mom, I can't diss this stuff anymore. This is pretty cool. So he had an attack and he was able to get over it. And he was just, as I was, just so impressed and excited that we maybe had a new quality of life here. If we fast forward to 9 months ago, my thyroid decided to leave the reservation. And I lost a lot of weight. I had AFib. My heart was beating out of my chest. And I thought I was going to die. And it was bad. And I said for 3 months, I was from the bed to the chair to the bed to the chair to the bed. And I just, again, with my faith said, Lord, I just don't know what to do here. And he really helped show me the way. And of course, I first look at the Nikken products because they are my first aid kit. And they're my emergency first aid kit as well. It was interesting because the doctor was surprised that my sleep wasn't as erratic as it should have been for what I was going through. And I said, well, it's disrupted. And she was like, disrupted? I was like, well, I have some good things, the energy when I go to sleep that really help me to get into a deep sleep. And I'm very grateful for that. I create the environment for my body to heal. But at this point, it wasn't healing. So I'm very grateful that I had that. Of course, I had the water. I've been on this shake and doing that every single day. Changed, again, looked at my nutrition and changed up some things. Of course, the Nikken supplements were huge in supporting my thyroid. Selenium is very big because in North America, we just don't have the selenium we need in our food because it's not in the soil. That's the way the earth cooled, and we got the smaller straw on that end. So we just don't have that selenium that our body needs. So it was important that I make sure that I was getting that every day. And then the ambient thermal regulating products that we have, it really helps the body to cool down or warm up. Well, because I was running hot and this pain level was a level 10, and you just touch it like this, and I would just cringe because it hurts so bad, but it was hot to touch. So I knew that those products were going to help to cool this area down so that my body could start healing again. And just every time that something does come up, I'm so grateful that I have resources. And I'm not just going, oh, well, throwing my hands in the air and just kind of giving up. I have the resources and I look at what's going on. I do a lot of research because I do teach at a university. I teach sleep and college, and it was real interesting. I just read an article, neuroscientists are now saying that women need more sleep than men because their brain works harder and more than a man's brain, believe that or not. And it's saying if you're only getting 8 hours of sleep, ladies, that's not enough. We need 9. And it's interesting because I was actually getting 9 hours of sleep when my body started to heal and I was able to get into that deep sleep again. But I cringe when I hear people getting up at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning and thinking, do you understand that you're just robbing yourself of years of your life and how important sleep is? And again, Nikken has come in and reinforced that with me. And that's my passion is sleep because it was really the cause of everything that my son and I were going through.
That's so cool. What a story. Thank you so much for sharing. And Nikken does miracles like that. People that have, lost hope even, you had your spiritual life to keep your hope going. But Nikken gives you that technological support that is based on what God gave us in the natural energies. And by mistake as humans, we've changed our environment, but we can get back to that natural environment with Nikken's help. It's a phenomenal gift, and thank you for sharing. And it's so wonderful that you can do that. My interest in healthy families, it's such a great story of how you're able to help your son when you yourself were still suffering as well. So together, you were able to get well. And thank you so much. Do you have a last moment of suggestions for people who are just starting to look at Nikken, Lisa?
Yes, it's interesting that you asked that. I'm actually going to start doing a course now on recovering from burnout, because now I've actually burned out twice. And how important it is to ask yourself those questions. You know, look at your vital areas of living and look at sleep and how is sleep. Look at nutrition. Some people say, well, I can't look at all of it at one time. And it depends on where you are on that scale. That's why I like to meet people where they are. If you're in, like I was, and it was chronic and it was urgent that I do something quickly, because this was life-threatening, really. But to really look at all aspects of living and where are you in that scale, and let's sit down and let's have a conversation. Because if you do have children, one day you may have grandchildren like I do now, and I want to be here. I don't want to be sitting in the rocking chair watching my grandchildren go play, and they say, "Come on, Gigi, let's go play." And I say, "Well, honey, I'd love to, but I just hurt so bad. I don't want to be that grandma. I want to be the buff grandma that comes out and says, hey, let's go snow skiing. Let me teach you how to water ski. I learned at your age," right? So look at your areas of living. And, you know, is that what you want? Is that all there is? You know, if you're hurting, I know when I was hurting, what would I not do to change that? And, you know, if they have lost hope, I hate to say neat thing, the interesting fact is I've been where they are and I lost hope 15 years ago. So if that's what you've lost, let's work on that. And I want to show you how you can gain that back. But do something. Don't just throw your hands in the air and say, you know, nothing can be done. And it is up to us. It's our responsibility, because people don't understand what resources they have because they don't know about them.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lisa. I'm just going to give a couple more reminder slides here. So let's begin your new success story. I love what Lisa said of just look at where you are on the spectrum of wellness and believe that you can get better, especially with the help of Nikken. Active wellness and living a life in balance is what we try to give everyone, and we can change the world. So become a customer. Start somewhere. The water, the insoles, the sleep system, the light even. And if you want to lose weight or whatever, just start somewhere and learn about Nikken. And you can become a part-time entrepreneur, and Nikken sends you a check for people that do purchase from your introduction. And then you can become a full-time entrepreneur if you want the ultimate gig economy. So thank you so much for joining us, and this will be recorded and sent out to our participants. And thank you so much, Lisa and Hattiejane, for your contributions, and have a great week.
Thank you.